the guy pulls up, of course, I'm gonna get a good one. Go. That's a nice fish right there. It's another probably four plus pounder there. I'll show you my screens here. We're running blind, got no electronics today. Still catching bigs. Hey guys, Zach Draskovic here. Man, it was a day today. It did not start off good for me. My down imaging, side imaging transducer got cut somehow, so I knew I was gonna be without that. But I show up to the lake, put my boat in the water, and I can't turn on my graphs. Turns out my graphs are dead. So not only do I not have down or side imaging, I got no mapping, no forward facing, no 360. So I was flying blind today. I was back in the Stone Age, but I was still able to put a number of fish in the boat thanks to just my little worm here. I covered this in my last video, just a little old red bug Zoom Ultra Vibe, and I was out of worm weight, so I just had a little 1/4 ounce drop shot weight on there as a free rig, and was just swimming it through the grass and dragging on some hard spots, and I caught a number of fish. I was able to catch fish without the sonar today because I had studied the map last night beforehand. I had went on Navionics, and I knew we had a predominantly northerly wind. Now it's shifted from north, northwest, northeast, but I knew it was coming from the north. So one of the larger areas that I had picked out, I knew was an area I could tackle without needing my sonar, because it's such a big area that forward facing, all that kind of stuff would have been not very useful anyway. It was shallow, grassy, imaging would have been of minimal help anyway. It would have helped me maybe stay on a contour line and fish it a little bit more effectively, but it was a big area that the only way to break it down was with a rod in your hand. So it was a big area, a big flat that I knew it had wind blowing across it for a number of days, and I had figured some bait fish would be there. And when I showed up, sure enough, I saw shad flickering, and I saw them swimming in and out the grass. And I had lost one on a fluke to start with. In the real shallows, I didn't see much fish activity, so I had backed off just a little bit from that 2 foot down to that I think it was about 4 foot of water, and I was just fan casting, and I was just going up and down this flat, making an S motion with my boat, with my trolling motor, and I just kept working, doing circles on the flat, making that S motion, stopping whenever I caught a fish, and casting around a little bit more just to make sure there wasn't a school in the area, and if I didn't get bit, just keep moving. I got on a good group of fish, a good school that I stayed camped out on for a little while, but eventually that they broke up. I had caught enough of them, and I went back to just S-ing up and down the flat, and I caught fish. So this goes to show you, electronics are a great tool to have when you're out there on the water, but you don't need anything fancy. You don't need $50,000 worth of electronics on your boat to catch fish. You need to just know the seasonal pattern, study the map beforehand in case you have some kind of catastrophic electronics failure like me and have to go out there fishing blind. And if you don't have the precise electronics to get spot on a spot, pick a large area to fish, that the only way to break it down is with a rod in your hand, and you'll catch fish that other people may be skipping over, because these large areas are a little bit intimidating. But if you go and you keep a moving lure in your hand, or I had a worm, I was swimming that worm, I was keeping that reel handle turning, and because of that, I was able to effectively break down a large area relatively quickly and catch fish that other people weren't. This was a spot that other boats were coming in. They're stopping for a second, fishing a tiny spot on that flat and going off without catching fish. I didn't see anybody else catch fish that I was around today, but I was constantly putting them in the boat because I was staying moving, and I was covering a large amount of water, because when you have a big area, there's going to be a lot of dead water. So going and trying to make as many casts as you can in a short amount of time as possible is the best way to put the odds in your favor. So, moral of the story: if you got a sunny, calm day, don't be afraid to pick up a little ultra vibe worm. This red bug color right now, the water is still real dingy, so this red bug was super effective. I went through 2 packs of worms today. I'm gonna have to stop by the tackle shop on the way home and grab me some more of these things, because these are on fire right now. I caught some big fish both on and off camera. My camera was getting overheated today, very sunny, very hot, and I caught one probably pushing 5 pounds on that worm off camera today as well. So I had a ton of fish catches. I'll show you as many as I can, just so you can get a feel of swimming the worm. What I'm doing is I'm doing that slow handle turn. I'm popping the rod, I'm shaking it periodically, because sometimes you can get a little bit of grass caught around the weight. There's a lot of floating grass today. That little pop will sometimes trigger some fish, but it'll also free up that grass from around your weight and make it to where part of your cast isn't dead. Because if you get grass caught along your weight, fish aren't going to go and hit a ball of grass coming through the water. So popping that rod periodically could trigger a bite and also unfoul your lure, so you can get fish to commit to your bait. Another important thing today, a lot of the bites that I was getting were pretty soft, and some of them were swimming at me after they hit, and having a good sharp hook was key. I think that 4/0 Ryogi hook, that real light wire hook, got me a lot of fish that I wouldn't have got with a heavier wire hook. There's a lot of good brands, a lot of brands make good sharp hooks, but this Ryogi is a little bit lighter wire than most of the worm hooks out there, and it's got that fluorine, that slick coating that makes it to where it penetrates their mouth very easily. And it wasn't just bass that I caught on this day. I even caught that catfish. And when I start catching more than just my target species on a bait, I know I'm onto something. You know you're in a good area and you're throwing the right bait when you're catching multiple species on your lure that you're throwing. So keep that in mind. If you're not catching exactly what you're going after, as long as you're catching fish, you're probably throwing the right bait. You just got to keep covering some water, and you'll run into the fish that you're looking for. I hope today's video helps you understand a little bit more about swimming the worm, getting a visual of it, and gives you confidence to go out there and fish even if you don't have a lot of electronics on your boat. Still possible to go out there and have a phenomenal day with minimal technology. The only thing I had working electronic on the boat was my cell phone and the trolling motor, but was still able to have a great day. Please like and subscribe. I have product links down below if you're interested in some of the stuff that I've talked about.